All right, Jay. We are here, and again, this is just a let's just talk moment. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of different groups that I pertain my calls to, but this one here will just be about everything. So this is just a let's just talk everything call. We talking, we chatting today.
Yes,
So that's what we doing. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us. And
no problem.
I mean, and you would, again, it's just a delight having you. It's a pleasure. You know,
I'm glad
um,
to be here. The truth has to come out
It has to. It has to. And you're not afraid. You're not afraid of what makes you so eager and willing? Like why are you just like bouncing ready? What makes you so eager?
because I am not afraid of this evil, wicked world, and I'm not afraid of Satan because at the end of the day, I know where my spirit is going to go, and my flesh can
Mm.
stay here for all I care. Flesh is not the plane I'm supposed to be scared of, that's just the body. What I'm
Yeah.
scared of is my soul, where it's going. So, like, people don't take it seriously until you realize, like, what if, like, God comes in your dreams and, like, you see
Mm.
something you don't want to see?
Mm. Mm.
So, you're never
Mm.
going to know. You never know. You never know. So, that's why I chose to tell the truth because I have to.
Let's go. Let's go. I love it. I love your bravery and your inspiration. You truly are. You're inspiration to me in many, many ways. No, thank you. Thank you. I know we want to start it off with this. And again, the movie just came out. Sounds of Freedom. It's a
Yeah.
movie. It's a movie I heard about a lot. You told me about it. You were promoting it on your story. You were just like, "Hey, y'all need to go see it."
Yes.
What made you want to see this movie and even be willing to talk about this movie? What made you want to do that?
What made me want to is because I was in a situation where I almost got sex trafficked with me and my mom.
Mm,
And the sex trafficking ring goes very deep, it goes very far. And also I read a small list on a TikTok video where it's very true, considering
mm,
where I live. Sex trafficking is in one of these states, and it's in many other states, including Texas, Georgia.
mm,
Um, I believe they said it was one of the other states. Too many states to even keep up with, but there are
mm,
many states, and also there's underground, uh, like I don't want to say underground railroads, but underground roads like
mm,
that can connect to. And also, as we know, that hotels have just been exposed. Marriott, Hilton, any type of hotel you can think of that's high brand. Yeah, elites know what they're doing. They have
mm,
little pathways where they hide the children at, or they come into the room and literally traffic you, and you've never been seen ever again. And this has been proven by Allie Carter. And if
mm,
you look her up, she's honestly in her hiding safe place. Like people are saying she's missing, but I think she's honestly just keeping herself protected and hiding in a protecting area, which I wish
mm,
the best for her because she has been through it all as a kid in the sex trafficking ring from years ago. And she has proven that she has been assaulted and forced to do things by many people in the elites, even celebrities who meet up and have these rituals and these events
mm,
underground. There's
mm.
a whole underground road, and I
Yeah.
believe that because there's too much that we have not seen. There's more to this world that we have not seen, and that's why I know that there's more under. Because
Mm, mm,
honestly, when you think about it, how do like all these celebrities meet up to all these events that are so-called private events and no one can get in? Like there's secret passageways that are only allowed. They're in all these big places that you would never think they're in.
mm,
Like, you know how someone may have like an office, like, a little door, like, like, or a little book in their bookshelf. You open it and there's a secret door. This is not even that. This is way dark, way more deep. And Ali Carter shares this on her TikTok, on her
mm.
story. You can listen to it. She doesn't go fully into detail, but she does give a lot of information. So I recommend listening to her and listening to her story. And that's what made me even more intrigued because I almost dealt with that. I was 15 when I almost got sex trafficked with my mom.
Wow.
The
Wow.
man drove into parking lot and it was like dusk to dawn. And he drove into the parking lot and he just drove into us while we were parked. And then he backed up and then he drove around and drove on the side of us. And he got out of the car and there were two women in the car. I don't think they looked like they were tied up. And
What?
yes, yes. like they were just chilling. Like they knew, like they're like, they're not even gonna try and fight. Like I don't know if he was forcing them to be in on it, and I don't know if he was gonna take their car and put us in the trunk of his car. Like I don't know. I was trying to
Mm,
think of every scenario, and there were cars in the traffic just driving past, not even knowing what's going on. He drove into us. He didn't bam into us like a whole head-on collision, but he drove into us while we were parked. And like, us being just two women in that situation,
yeah.
he thinks that would scare us because we're vulnerable and we were not expecting it. Because it's like considering dusk to dawn and near where we live, that's pretty much like broad daylight to us. And we don't live in
Yeah.
a bad neighborhood. So it was really
Mm,
crazy how that happened. That shows you danger is anywhere and you have to
everywhere.
watch your
Mm,
surroundings. So what happened was he drove into us, he backed up and he got out of the car with both of his hands in it. You know how like police tell you both hands in the air and they're about to surrender, like,
right.
surrender, da, 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 da. So he had his hands like that. And he said, sorry, sorry. He kept walking into us. The closer he walked up to us and he's saying, I'm sorry. Like he's like as if his body language was like, sorry, but I gotta do this. Like he just had to, like he could not just leave it
Mm,
alone. And the worst part is that it was on the security footage of when he drove
oh.
into us, but then he drove away. When we drove away, I think he suggested that we were on that side of the city when we lived on across of the other side of the city, and he decided to follow us, but then he realized where we were going. He stopped, and I don't know if he had a warrant in that part of the city or not, but I guess that's why he stopped following us. And then
What?
the second situation where I almost got kidnapped by myself, I had a package and I was opening it and I was sitting in a parking lot of this business place again in the broad daylight. This
Mm,
dude comes and walks up. I don't know if it was a sex trafficking situation, but he could have been a predator, which could have led to something else, but I don't
yeah.
know. And
Mm,
this situation was kind of awkward for me more because my mom was not with me. She was actually in the business building, and I was parked up right in the front near the building. I was six. I was actually 14. This one actually happened before the second sex trafficking situation. Now
yeah.
this one was just a predator, but this just shows to you you don't know what situation you can be in. So I was sitting in the car, right? I have a cast on my leg because I sprained my ankle really badly at the time. So I have this like big boot on my leg, and he just knocks on the window and let the window down. I'm like, huh? He said, let the window down. I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, no. I
Mm,
pretended to be deaf. I
yeah.
pretended to be deaf. I
Yeah.
said, I said, like, that's so bad. And I'm not trying to say that in harm to anyone who cannot hear, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that, like, I had to pretend something. So
Mm,
I'm thinking, I'm just going to pretend. I just shook my head, like, I don't hear anything you're saying. And he said, where'd you get that box from? I'm like, this is my package and it came in my name. So what is he talking about?
right. Exactly.
So he said, where'd you get that package from? I'm like, I shook my head, and I humped my shoulders like, I don't know.
Right.
and, and this
Exactly.
dude looked crazy. Like he was still standing at the window. I said, I'm not letting the window down. And I pulled out my pocket knife and I was like, and then he walked away. I'm like, yeah. And I
Mm,
wanted to call the police on him, but I was so frozen in that moment.
yeah.
Like I did not know what to do in that situation. But the back to the second situation, which was more recent, when I was 15, with
Hmm.
my mom, I got through the sunroof of the car with a pocket knife, and I was about to stab him because he was getting way too close to the vehicle.
Whoa. Wait, the
Like he
same
was
dude?
like, no, 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 two different guys, two different
Okay.
races.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the craziest part. Like you wouldn't think this happens, but it does happen. It happens everywhere, and this is what drove me to want to talk about this and expose it,
Yeah.
because there's also two other scenarios where I never had like physical encounters, but this one was when me and my mom were in the store again, Walmart. Two
Yeah.
guys were following us down the aisles, and they weren't following us like as if attracted to us. They were following us down the aisles, and this was not like, some little hunky dunky situation. They were
Yeah.
like on the phone, like whispering to whoever they were talking to. And then they waited at the door, like the second door right before you walk out of the store.
Mm,
And we noticed that a van drove past. I'm like, oh, nah. Mm-mm. So we
yes.
go back into the Walmart before we can get out the second door. We speak to the security, and he was like a friend of ours. Whenever we came to the store, he always said hi to us. So we like,
Mm,
do you notice someone following us in the store? He looked on the security footage and went into the security room. He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And we said, there's like someone standing outside of the door. And he's like, yeah, I see them.
Mm.
I see them. They've been following you around, such and such. And come to find out, they got into that same van that drove past.
Wait, that was the same guy that drove past?
No, the van that went past that we were about to walk out of the Walmart,
Yeah.
those two guys that were still following us, they got right into that van.
Oh my goodness, man.
So that was another situation where you could get sex trafficked and you have no idea. They don't care anymore. They'll do it in broad daylight. They put
Mm.
tags on your doors to market you to let other sex traffickers know, oh, hey, such and such, this person's vulnerable. Like they'll watch you and put like you know those little like draw tags, like it's like something a zip ties they put on your door
Mm.
handles. We already know the tissue situation with chemicals they put on your
Yeah, I heard
handles.
about that. Yeah.
Yep, yep, and also they'll put stuff in your windshields. We already know that, but there's it's even worse now because they just come up to you, they'll just attack you. We know about, I believe, a situation where she was abducted in Georgia. I think you know about it. A girl where she was abducted when she was trying to help a child.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, and she was found, but she was tortured and stuff, and I think that's what they said, but she isn't able to like talk right now because she's like
What?
just like she's able, I don't know what her condition is, but they said that she's home now. She walked home and stuff, but I
Whoa.
have no idea like of the full story, but
Yeah.
that just proves to you that they're using anyone and anything to draw you. You can't trust car seats, you can't trust none of that. A baby, you can't trust any of that crap anymore. And I
Yeah.
feel bad about that because what if there's an actual child in danger? We will never know.
And she was trying to help a baby?
She was trying to help a toddler boy on the interstate. And
Wow.
yeah, I think that's where they said she was abducted. There's more to the story, and people have been zooming up on the camera to find out more information. And they said there was a car in the woods, and another figure came up to grab her, and it's shown on the camera. You got to have really good eyes to see it.
Mm.
But
Wow.
yeah, this all just goes to my point of sex trafficking has to be exposed. And
Yeah.
I honestly say the best person to get information about and the true story of sex trafficking rings and human trafficking is Ali Carter. And I'm going to go
Mm.
to even deeper right now and talk
Mm.
about a specific race that is mostly at target for sex trafficking. Hate me, I don't care.
Yeah.
But
Come on.
it has to be said because why do you think the number one race, Black people, African American race, why do you think our melanin is so expensive? When we go to uh this plasma centers, they give the Black people more money for their plasma than any other race. And it has been
Mm.
proven in statistics, you get like way more money when you are African American and you give your plasma. And I've even had family members who gave their plasma and they got more money.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm not just telling some mumbo jumbo here. I actually have proof. And the crazy part about it is
Mm.
that because our melanin, uh,
Mm.
if you take care of your melanin, our melanin is a natural healer. So
Mm.
if us like Black people weren't eating this crappy food, like we would never get cancer, honestly. If we weren't eating the crappy food that is given to us by the government, we would
Mm.
never ever get cancer. But not saying this to target any other race, but speaking on the statistics, they have
Yeah.
always tried to make it seem like Black people were the most unhealthy. When in reality, back then, Black people were the most living. They outlived every other race.
Mm.
So why do you think they create these foods to kill us even more?
Yeah.
And it's not even just targeting Black people with the food anymore. They don't care. They don't give a darn about any race now. They just want to kill off the population of America. And this is where I go to that Kamala Harris video. She
Yeah.
talked about so-called vehicles, electric vehicles and stuff. And I can't remember everything she said, but she talked about um decreasing the population instead of saying so-called pollution. They tried to make it seem
Mm.
like a slip up, but she said what she said, and she did
Yeah.
not like clear it up or anything. She said decrease the population. And that goes into people not thinking, where do all of these human bodies go that are unidentified?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this goes into many things like it's all over the place. It's all over the place when I'm talking about this because you have to kind of tie it together like Connect Four.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I see, but I'm tying it. I'm tying it.
and and it goes to say, you know how they want to decrease the population, and decreasing the population is actually pretty easy in the government's eyes, especially when they're creating all these plagues, because these plagues are not from God, they're man-made. Just
Mm,
when like it's very fishy when the 5G towers were um placed, then right after that, there was white stuff coming out of those towers, and people
what?
like neighbors like video recorded it and put it on TikTok and stuff like, what is all this stuff coming out of these towers and stuff? And why are they putting them up? And then right after they put those 5G towers up, a pandemic of the coronavirus 19 happened. And here's how you know coronavirus was never supposed to be as deadly as it is now, because coronavirus has been around, just like Serge Manis said back then in the 90s. They've been around, and they've been on the Lysol cans in the 90s. They weaponized coronavirus and turned it into COVID-19, specifically COVID-19, because they started weaponizing it in 2019. And that's when the pandemic happened in 2020.
Mm,
And then a bunch of distractions happened that year. Many distractions, many deaths, many things, many outbreaks, many things. As we know, 2020 was a complete disaster. Even what's funny, if you've heard of the channel, the news channel 2020,
yeah.
they even said about the year 2020 something crazy was going to happen. So we've been warned, we just ignore it.
Man.
So to go back to, because there's so much to talk about, to go back to the human race being decreased, the population.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris wants that to happen because they're sick and tired of the older generation.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what I believe, because you know how the older generation doesn't do as much as this new generation does. No shade to my Gen Z people, because I love everyone, but this generation is just jacked up and tore from the floor up. Some of them are in their right minds, and some of them are very intelligent, actually, don't get me wrong. But when it comes down to the generation being mind controlled and completely lost, that's what I mean as in jacked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Because
agree.
I can even admit to myself being like completely lost a couple years ago. You have to be willing to want to learn and not just follow what you are taught. And sometimes even back then they follow what they were taught, the older generation. But because it's effective even worse now, it's worse for the newer generation because they want to get rid of the older population, so none of the newer generation has any peers to listen to.
Mm, yeah.
So it's kind of like an effect of, you know how you want someone to be your peer, like, you know, a leader that is not someone who you look up to that does the right thing. You want someone who usually could lead you the right way, but this is completely different. This generation, if the older generation has been completely moved off
Mm,
and eliminated, for an example, I'm not saying this will actually exactly happen, but in Kamala Harris's eyes, what specifically the age has been targeted of people dying, mostly all ages, but mostly back then in the 2020 situation, they were
yeah.
always saying that majority of the people who got COVID were black people or older people,
Yeah.
30 and up, such and such. And people with sicknesses, cancer, diabetes, and stuff, all those people died from COVID. They're saying that.
Yeah.
And what makes it worse is that there's even statistics that prove that not the whole entire number of how many people that were saying that percentage of people that died in the like the roundup of years throughout the COVID pandemic, that is not how many people died. That is not how many
Mm,
people died from coronavirus. They have charted off regular, normal, natural deaths as a coronavirus death. So
oh.
back then, when you like, imagine if they just called it off as a COVID death and they were not able to identify that person, and that person just came in there for one thing and they never even had COVID, and they were never ever to be seen again. And we're not talking about that. Like, they just take advantage of people who don't have families in the hospitals. And we're wondering where all these missing people are at, because there's way more missing people than what we think. This involves human trafficking. This
Yeah.
involves Kamala Harris decreasing the population. This is something that she wants. And where is Biden?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Where
What's going on with him? So, like, because that dude is not even human. But we're not going to talk about that because people don't want to.
Yo.
People want to say, "Oh, this is conspiracy. You guys are woke. You're crazy. You're lunatics." Yeah, call me crazy. Whatever. I don't care. You let me believe in
Mm,
what I want to believe in. You believe in what you want to believe in. I'm not forcing anything on you. People want to post their booty shaking stuff, and people want to
mm,
post them throwing and popping up watermelons and throwing rocks at cats and stuff. Well, I'm gonna post my stuff about what I believe
mm-hmm,
in.
mm-hmm.
Like, it's a free country. Well, at least for now.
Yeah,
Because at the
yeah.
end of the day, we've never been free. It's a rat race. America is a
Mm,
total rat race. Every other country outside knows America sucks. They know America is crap. They know that the food here is crap. They know that, like, honestly, imagine if you go to Jamaica for 1 year. Do you realize that you eating superfoods that will heal your body? But when you come back here, your stomach is just jacked up and tore up on the floor if you eat one thing.
mm,
And people have said that, like, I need to move out of the country because everything is better there. The pollution, the air, everything is better over there.
yeah,
When you come to America, it's even more dangerous. They always try to make outer countries look more dangerous when in reality, danger's everywhere, like I said.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Like, honestly, we've been so, like, caught up in the rat race of the economy and trying to pay taxes and get successful in a government system that does not want us to make any more than the
Yeah,
average.
yeah.
So, to point this out real quick, if we were to ever move out of the country, like at least half of America, the government will have no power. But this is where it leads into them wanting to take away our rights to have passports.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm getting mine this year. But to
Yeah.
go back to the human population situation,
Mm-hmm.
many human bodies have disappeared, and human trafficking is not just for women and sex trafficking, and also like, targets little children, which is so sickening. Like we said before about the movie Sound of Freedom, it targets little kids, little girls, little boys, babies too.
Yeah.
And it's sickening, it's disgusting,
It's
and it's
sickening.
awful.
Mm-hmm.
And it targets them to not only, like, for sexual assault purposes, but or perpetrators or perverts desires, but not just that. It also targets them because how do you realize all of these celebrities are looking so young?
Mm.
So people are talking about this. Yeah, it was exposed in a children's movie by Disney.
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. showed
Mm.
a scare, like, a scaring technique. When someone is completely scared so bad, it creates a type of hormone into the blood cells, which is called adrenochrome.
Mm.
Adrenochrome can be used to give off a youthful look and reduce skin aging and aging of the skin and aging of the face and the body and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
all this leads up to blood rituals. All this leads up to children being taken not just for disgusting purposes, but also for even worse disgusting purposes of rituals, demonic stuff, using them as a skincare product.
Yeah.
And it's even been proven because a lady came on the Steve Harvey show and she said, "Oh, here goes this red colored product that Oprah uses to keep herself looking young."
Mm.
And Steve Harvey put it on his hand, and immediately the wrinkles went away in his hand.
Mm.
And the product was red. On top of that, the woman who sharing this product, she said it comes from the skin human cells of the baby. Just said that so commonly, and everyone just laughed in the audience.
Mm.
And you know how they program us just to laugh? Don't worry, be happy. Just laugh
You're
it
right. Just
off.
laugh. Yeah.
Just laugh. And this
Yeah.
also involves on the Late Show where Jim Carrey was talking about all the crap and everything. No one in the audience actually laughed when he was talking about that junk. He actually was talking some facts about exposing everything,
Mm.
and the audience was so quiet. But the Late Show, they actually exposed people and said that the audience didn't laugh, but the producers put a laughing sound over them anyway to make it seem like everyone just made it a joke and laughed at it anyway. But in
Crazy.
reality, it was never a joke. in reality, those people in the audience were not laughing.
Mm. And they
And
try to paint.
after that interview, Jim Carrey's girlfriend gets killed.
Yo, I was just hold on. When did this happen?
I can't remember when this interview happened. I can't remember what year this was. It was recent though, because he was
Mm.
he looks the similar, like, age. This was recent. This wasn't too long ago. This was like, I don't know if it was in like 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, or 2023. I don't know. It wasn't this year, but it was definitely around the years like back then. Like it was not far ago. Like it was recent, very recent.
Wow.
And um after that interview, after that show he came on, he was real quiet and something happened to his girlfriend,
Mm.
blah blah blah, blah, such and such. And he talked about a lot of crap that happens and talks about America,
Yeah.
talks about the government, talks about the elites, talks about the society, talks about even this I have not brought up yet, the Illuminati. And he says the Illuminati's real. And people are just laughing
Mm.
it off when in reality the audience was not laughing.
Mm. Mm.
So back to the adrenochrome situation. Children's blood produces youth and older people who basically don't want surgery or don't want Botox. So they use this as a ritual, which is demonic. And also to prove that Oprah is dirty, Oprah is also very evil because she also said this on a show. And this just disgusts me completely because
Mm.
she has a little girl's school in Africa, but this little girl's school is like so shady. It's a lot of shady stuff going on in that school, and someone came out and said like it's like a sex trafficking ring in that school, and it's in Africa, and like many people, there's not that many people that go to the school. Like for it to be a little girl's school, you would think like a good amount of people could go to that school, but not really. So what about Oprah?
Crazy.
I'm gonna say is she
Whew.
said this on live television. She said this in her own words. Is it really rape if the person who's being assaulted enjoys it?
He said that.
She said that. You can go and look it up. Hopefully, they didn't take the video down because they always take it down when somebody realizes what was said isn't right.
Yeah.
Oprah's dirty. Uh, what's his name? Nicolas Cage is dirty. Um, Also, many people who are making all these jokes is not, it's not a joke. Like, celebrities, one of these celebrities say, I eat children. Uh and as much as I love this dude, I love his acting. I looked up to him as a kid and I realized that this is not okay. Like, even if he isn't as dirty as he could be, he made a joke. And as
Hmm.
we know, people do cannibalism in this industry as well because Holly Weird is dark. So Holly Weird is very evil and involves Pizzagate. If you ever heard of Pizzagate, Pizzagate is where it involves
Hmm.
the sex trafficking of children as well. And if you go and watch the video of Justin Bieber Yummy, the song is catchy. It's real catchy, isn't it? Justin Bieber's song Yummy. You go watch that whole video and it talks about cannibalism of children. The children that were playing the band in that video, their clothes
Mm.
were on the plates of the elderly people at the table by the end of the video.
Mm.
Why would their clothes be at the end of the table with forks on it? And at the end of the video, it showed Justin Bieber's younger face on one of the plates, proving that he was um a vulnerable uh child that was being like, like so much stuff done to him as a child in the industry. Like he was completely prey. He was prey and predators. Like
Mm.
he was like definitely attacked and tortured and all things. I don't know what the heck happened to him. Um, and it's just sickening. It's very sickening, but it
Yeah.
involves Pizzagate because I found out that pizza is actually a ritual. Pizza was created for rituals and stuff. Like, I mean, we're not
Are
eating
you
pizza now.
serious?
I'm so serious because when you think about it, it's a piece that's being taken off of a cold, like it's hard to explain because there's so much I can talk about.
Yo.
But Pizzagate involves, let me go to my paper because I have
Yeah.
too much. I have too much.
Nah, you
Pizzagate and
good.
Pizzagate involves so much dark stuff as well. This crap is not some conspiracy or joke.
Mm,
People want to believe in what they want to believe in. I'll tell you this. When you have something that makes sense and it's being thrown in our faces and we act like it hasn't actually happened, you do you. I'ma do me. Pizzagate.
yeah,
Found it. Okay, Pizzagate. Evil predators and highly weird trafficking and manipulating and abusing and molding young celebrities in Hollywood, cannibalism and eating humans, reference Justin Bieber's Yummy music video, adrenochrome, blood rituals, and missing kids, scaring young children and then draining their blood that was produced through adrenochrome to make elites look and stay young.